Hello friends, my name is Type 1, and I'd like to welcome you back to World Building Wednesday, a series where we dive into the world of Penrose, a series I've been working on for over 15 years now. If you enjoy the content that you see here, I'd love to see you hit that subscribe button and keep this channel's momentum shooting for the stars. Last time that we were together, we covered the Mobius Strip, the large snowy plateau that stretches across both continents, Kaiju Country, the strange, gigantic lands beyond the plateau, and the deep dark, the abysmal trench that stretches vertically, I guess you would say, across the continents. So today, we'll be looking at the continent, or not really a continent, but the caverns that dwell below even the deep dark, Fractalia. Before we get into that, I'd like to mention, I know not everybody has the time to watch all the way through these videos, but if you would, before you leave this video, at least go to the end to check out our new outro video that was animated by my good friend Crime Wave. I'll leave a link to his Twitter in the description of the video, and I believe it's also available in the bio of my YouTube channel. If it's not already, I'll make that change, of course, but please go check out his work, and maybe go give him a follow. Maybe even commission him. He does some really, really nice stuff. He's also the one who did the profile picture for our channel. But back to our project here. So Fractalia is made up of 5 distinct areas. We have the Primordial Bog, the Illusory Wilds, the Hadean Sea, the Mycelium Mounds, and the Mantle. So we're going to start with the Primordial Bog. Now this place is kind of, what would you call it? It's like a tar pit kind of thing. It's this huge tar pit, or oil basin kind of deal. And all the oil slash tar slash black muck that you see in this area is actually all a huge, like, what's the word for it? Like, symbiotic cluster of bacterium. It's kind of like a siphonophore, if you know what those are. They're these long, stringy things that you see in the sea, and they're, like, really, like, miles of, like, I think it's, like, plankton or something that have turned into this, like, kind of hive, and are one huge creature made up of billions of smaller creatures. That's kind of what the bog is made out of. So go ahead and type this out. So a large oily bog made up out of a viscous colony of bacterium. Now the fun thing with this bacterium, or bacteria or whatever, I don't really know the words for microbiology kind of stuff. That's a bit beyond even my knowledge. But the cool stuff with this is that for every creature that this bacterium consumes, it actually absorbs, like, the memory of that creature. So it knows exactly how to act like that creature, to either blend in if it had to, but more primarily to use that creature's bones and make, like, artificial zombies out of it, kind of deal. It's one of my favorite ideas I think I've ever come up with. I think it's pretty sick, because, like, there's so much iconography of fossils of creatures that died in tar pits. So the idea of a tar pit that eats the creature, you know, like, quite literally eats the creature in this case, and then regurgitates its remains as some kind of horrifying bone disease creature capable of dragging even more creatures into it, creating this virtual zombie army, all for this symbiotic hive mind of bacteria. Like, I think it's a really cool idea. Microscopic creatures forming this black ooze devour creatures so holy. I spell holy. I'm just missing it now. They are even able to eat the memories and behaviors of those they consume, allowing for near perfect mimicry the ability to Bones of the Fallen as structures for zombie recreations. Yeah, I like the idea of this, like, kind of a dual edge thing going on here with this particular thing, because it's still got like the effects of a tar pit essentially, where it's sticky and nasty and hard to get out of. But at the same time, if you die there, the next people that come through there are gonna have an even harder time, because now there's just yet another body that this thing can control in there. So that's pretty neat. The Illusory Wilds. This is another area. Like, honestly, Fractalia is one of my favorite areas that I've put together. I think the only other one that I'd say I like even more than this, like, I like the Deep Dark a lot, but I think I put that as, like, my third favorite. But I think... Where is it at? The Black Isle, I think, would be probably the only thing that I might like more than this, but I've always been such a sucker for cool underground environments. So, you know, getting to make my own it's just a lot of fun, and I really, really adore the things that I've come up with here. Like, the Hadean Sea is a bit more generic, but everything else that I've come up with, I'm really, really proud of. Like, I like the living oil bog. I like what we're about to see here with this particular area. Mycelium mounds, I think those are pretty cool. The mantle's also kind of generic, but it's an interesting idea, I think, or at least an interesting concept. Okay, so the Illusory Wilds. I can't spell Illusory. God, I really can't spell today, goodness. I've already had to remake this video because when I was trying to make it initially, I just had like the absolute worst case of brain fog, and honestly, that still hasn't gone entirely away, dude. I've just been in such a funk lately. And I think I just need to get more sleep, probably. I think that'll, you know, take care of it, but, like, good lord, I've just been in a haze the last, like, 2 or 3 days. It's been rough. Large force... No, not force. Angle stretching along the edge of the most cliffs. Fractalia, just above the mantle. So constantly in a constantly covered in thick. Hold on, I keep doing this. I hold the shift key for just a second too long. Clouds of fog generated by the Hadean Sea pouring over the basin into the mantle. So this is like an underground jungle which has been able to thrive the way it has and exist the way it does, covered in thick fog and rain, because this ocean will pour over the edge, like the edge of these cliffs, this basin, and fall into the mantle, which is quite literally the planet's mantle. It's this super hot, molten area, and it'll evaporate and come back up. It's creating like a pseudo water cycle underground. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the mantle may actually be too hot and may just burn away water if this is like real life, but it's not real life. It's my fantasy story and I say what goes, and I think that's a cool idea. Due to the thick fog and constant drizzle, I can't spell, in this area, the creatures... No, hold on. Notoriously easy to get lost and the creatures have entered an arms race of natural camouflage. Look at me, I can spell camouflage. No, I can't. Damn, just got freaking smartphoned by my own freaking writing app, dude. That's painful. But yeah, so it's constantly foggy and drizzling here. It's like an ultra humid rainforest underground. And the creatures here are already kind of weird. But even more so in this area, they've become highly adept to stealth tactics and camouflage. And they're constantly basically just trying to evolve to one-up each other kind of deal. It's a vicious place and not really a good place to be if you're just like a regular dude. I mean, I'll be honest with you, given the fact that the Deep Dark is like 11 kilometers below sea level, and this place is even deeper, I don't think any regular person would have any business being down here. I don't think they would probably survive past this area, if they even survived getting down there, to be quite honest with you. Like, this is just... These are not places meant for normal people to inhabit whatsoever. Surface world. The Hadean Sea is a massive body of fresh water. Stretches for many kilometers. I haven't really mapped this area out in my head, so I don't really know which direction I want the Hadean Sea to go, kind of thing. But I'll think on it. I've got kind of a vague idea. I do want to add something to Prioria Bog. Deep within the bog is the remains of the original kingdom of Fractalia. It is said that the source of the bog itself can still be found here, under heavy guard from the hive mind. Say from the hive. So we'll talk about like the people who live down here at a later date, but there are people down here, and they used to live where this bog was. I'm not really sure where the bog came from, I'll be honest with you, but it showed up and it completely just wrecked their kingdom, and they had to move elsewhere because of this thing. I've never really put much thought into where the bog might have come from, if it's from the surface world, if it was something they accidentally, like, tapped into when they came underground. Maybe it was just chilling somewhere in the, you know, dozens of kilometers between Fractalia and the surface. Maybe it was just up in the rocks hanging out somewhere. I'm not really sure where it came from, but I like the idea of some things just being strange for the sake of it. Because when I think about, like, the show Primal, some of my favorite aspects of that show were the things that weren't explained. Just the stuff that was just vague and weird, like the magic and the gods and the zombie dinosaurs. They were just, like, freaky, weird crap that had no real definite answer. It just existed in the world and added that little bit more mystery. And that's kind of what I hope to achieve with some of the stuff down here. Let's resume working on the Hadean Sea. For those who don't know, I've taken the name Hadean from one of the earliest periods of time in Earth's history. This was back when the Earth was still, like, ultra molten and forming and like a hot ball, so it was named after the Greek god Hades. So I've kind of taken this thing here because, you know, people always describe the ocean as like they like to describe like the deep sea as hell, or, you know, hellish. I mean, there's even, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, there's like a layer of the sea that's named something similar. Let me look it up here. Okay, let's see. Layers of the sea name. 'Cause I don't remember off the top of my head. 'Cause got the epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssal pelagic. Yeah, there it is, the hadal zone. Or hadal pelagic. That's the bottom one. That's at the freaking absolute bottom. That's where you get the weird, gross looking stuff. Like, I'm looking at this diagram. It's got like tube worms and sea cucumbers. I don't know what leaper fish is. Hold on, we're gonna do a little tangent here. But yeah, this is like the zone that's below like the deep sea. This is the deep, the bottom of everything. So it said leaper fish? We're learning today. We're learning today, class. Oh. I've seen these before. These are cute. They're also called snailfish. Interesting. Okay, so these dudes have been found even in the Marianas Trench. These dudes are like some of the deepest known like bony fish out there. That's very interesting. Alright, so getting back to this, yeah, there's the hadal zone, which probably refers to Hades as well. I forget what I was typing up here. Okay, so this ocean, it's nothing super special. It's just a big freshwater ocean, essentially. But it is extremely deep, and the creatures here are extremely big. They are large, strange, unknown beasts of the deep, and no one's ever really had a chance to measure to the bottom, partly because this is not really an explored place in my story's lore. Like, the average, like, scientists and stuff don't know Fractalia exists. This is to those who do know, it's a pretty guarded secret, but even then, there's not many who know. I misspelled kilometers. So, there's never really been, like, research done into, like, the depths of this place or anything. There's pretty much everything I'm writing down here is stuff that will be, like, actually talked about in story as it's discovered, because this place is just so inaccessible and so unknown that there's just no research for it. There's no even evidence to its existence. And doubly so because it's, you can only get there by going through the deep dark, and this place is also extremely unresearched just because of how dangerous it is. Like, it's dangerous, it's dark, the creatures there want to kill you. So if you're just wandering around looking for caves to jump into, well, hey, buddy, you may as well be jumping into a bear's den, let alone finding a lost underground, like, continent kind of thing. Like, okay, so the mycelium mounds. So for those who don't know, burial mounds, those were a thing in Europe, I think in, like, Scotland or England or something like that. But people would build, like, these huge hills to, like, bury their dead, essentially. So that's kind of what we're going for with this. But this has got a bit of a twist to it, because it's not like regular people. How do you want to call this? The most hallucinogenic. That is not how you spell that word at all. There you go. Thank you, autocorrect. Thank you, autocorrect. Species of mushroom known to Penrose on its surface. In the mounds themselves are many corpses of what are believed to be some unknown race of fungal people whose decaying bodies gave way to the large mushroom forests now growing on top of the mounds. Some who have experienced the... Hold on, let me fix my words or else I'm going to go insane. Some who have experienced the effects of these mushrooms claim to have dreamed of ritual combat in a gladiatorial arena against said mushroom folk. Whether these shared hallucinations are just that, or are memories of the past, are to be seen. No, sorry. It's to be seen. So basically, this was like, I'm not going to say like Roman-esque, but they were like a gladiatorial, you know, fight for honor kind of people. These like fungal people, kind of, I don't want to say barbarian, because that sounds kind of offensive, but like they were more medieval. They were more medieval, and they buried their dead in these huge hollow mounds, and as those dead decayed, these mushrooms started to grow, and those who actually experienced the hallucinations stemming from these mushrooms experienced fights of the past, like engaging in fights of the past with mushroom warriors in a strange arena. Now, whether or not that's actually for real what's happening or not, you know, like if they're actually experiencing a memory from the past, or if it's just a odd shared hallucination that these mushrooms cause, I'm not really open to sharing right now. Maybe we'll find out later when we actually get to the writing part of the whole story thing, but you know, one thing at a time. The mantle. The mantle is quite literally, as it sounds, the mantle of the planet. This region of Fractalia is ultra hot. Plays large part in the water cycle of the area. No known life exists here. As even the greatest extremophiles find this environment unsuitable 2 double. I can't spell today. Oh my... Dude, I've been on a computer at work all day. Why have I lost my ability to type now? Oh! Probably because it's a different keyboard than the one at work, if I had to guess. But still! So there you go. The mantle is quite literally just the mantle of the planet. It's an exposed chunk of it. It's extremely hot. The ocean pours over here, and it causes, steam and rain and all sorts of fun water cycliness, which in turn allows things like the mycelium mounds and the illusory wilds to exist. The primordial bog is just there, and they're just doing their own thing. They could give less of a crap about the whole water cycle, just so long as there's more flesh to be devoured, which I guess, all things considered, they do rely on the water cycle, just not as directly as some creatures, because without the water cycle, there probably wouldn't be nearly as much life down here, and without that life, the bog would not be thriving the way it does. So, all things are connected and whatnot. I think that's going to be about it for this video. This is a bigger chunk than what I was expecting, really. Next time, we will go over... Let's see, what is next? Yeah, we'll go over Palinki and the Black Isle. I think by the next video, I'll have some more stuff to add to Kaiju Country. I have a few ideas I've been kind of banging away on. So, for now, though, I'm pretty happy with how Fractalia is looking. I'm very excited to talk about all the stuff that goes on down here and some of the creatures down here. I don't have a ton of creatures down here yet, but I'm very fond of the ones that I do. I think they're pretty neat. But until next time, friends, if you enjoyed the video at least, feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know how I'm doing. And until we meet again, have a good morning, evening, afternoon, and night. Bye-bye.